Before we lend money on a property, we do due diligence on that property to make sure it's something we're going to want to lend on. Some of the things that we'll do is we'll pull a property report or several property reports, and sometimes we'll even do a full appraisal if we're not comfortable with the values we're getting and the comparable sales, or I should say comparable sales are sales around the property that have just recently sold. If we can't see a good estimate of value, we'll sometimes do a full appraisal. We'll pull a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis, or there's also a BPO you can get in the area, which is a broker's price opinion of the property. The first thing that we have to do on everything that we lend on is we have to determine value through the many sources that we look at. Sometimes we'll even use Rentometer and other services that look at how much rent could be collected for the property, so that we'll know how to value that property before we go into it. We have reports that we pull that cost us thousands of dollars per month to properly value a property. And when you're out there doing deals, we want to actually help you use the reports without spending thousands of dollars. We actually are opening up on our site, or it may already be open at the time you're watching this video, a deal desk area where you can have us pull the report for you and essentially check out your deal for you. It's going to come with a report that has quite a bit of information that I'll talk about in just a second, but it's going to essentially analyze the transaction like we analyze the transaction, so that you can feel comfortable going into it, kind of knowing in advance how much money you're going to make. If there's rehab to be done, you'll get a bid on that rehab, you'll have a valuation once it's complete, and you'll feel confident that a second set or maybe 3 sets of eyes have looked at your transaction before you purchase it, before you make a large investment that you want to get a good return on. So not only are we now your money partner that can help you purchase the properties you want to purchase, we're also another set of eyes on every transaction that can help you analyze your transaction and make sure, like we look at the transaction, that you've looked at the transaction the same way before you go and purchase a large investment like that. Another really important aspect of doing our due diligence on an investment property is finding out what lien position, or making sure that we're in the first lien position on title. There could be tax liens on title, there could be mechanics liens on title of someone who's worked on the property. There can even be city liens that essentially say that something needs to be done on the property. And we need to find out what is on title before we will lend on the property. Otherwise, we could, instead of being in first position, we might be in second or third position on the title. If you think about it just stacked up like that, we want to be in first position on the title of the property, because if that property gets paid off or it gets sold, the first person that gets paid is the first position on title. Besides just liens on a property, there can also be other things that will attach to a property, such as an encroachment by the neighbor's property, which may be 3 feet onto your property, and you don't know that in advance, and so we check those things out. There can also be an IRS tax lien against the person that previously held title to the property, or a judgment against that person's name. We need to know exactly what shows up on title before we will lend on a property like that, definitely before you buy a property. So if you haven't already, go to the link that says Deal Desk and learn everything that you need to know about how to have us analyze your properties with you so you can be successful in your next project.